She screamed, "You'll pay for this," while her daughter's Jeep was still halfway through my front wall. I was standing there, staring at the mess. Bricks shattered, the flower bed destroyed, and my brand new porch railing snapped in half. It was a peaceful Sunday morning until that loud crash shook the whole street. I ran out thinking someone had died, but when I saw who stepped out of the driver's seat, my jaw clenched. It was Lily, Karen's teenage daughter, the same girl who thought speed bumps were for losers. Karen came running from her house across the street like she owned the block. Before I could even ask if Lily was okay, Karen started yelling at me. "This is your fault. You built your wall too close to the road," she snapped. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. "Karen, this is my private property. Your daughter drove straight into my yard." She rolled her eyes, looked around at the neighbors gathering, and hissed, "We'll see what the HOA says about that." The crowd started whispering. Even old Mr. Jenkins from next door muttered, "That wall's been there for 20 years. Karen ignored him. She dragged her daughter back home like she was the victim, shouting about calling her lawyer. I stood there shaking my head, taking photos of the damage. But deep down I knew Karen wasn't bluffing. This wasn't the first time she'd tried something insane. Last month, she complained that my American flag was too bright and distracting. That evening, a letter showed up in my mailbox. It wasn't from insurance. It was a lawsuit notice. Karen was suing me, claiming my wall was illegally constructed and caused emotional trauma to her daughter. I almost laughed until I saw she had real legal paperwork. She'd filed it through the HOA's lawyer. I sat on my porch, the hole in my wall still gaping, and whispered to myself. The next morning, I showed up at City Hall with a folder full of documents, permits, photos, and even the original construction approval signed by Tom, Karen's husband, who just so happened to be the head of the local HOA committee. The clerk looked at the paperwork and frowned. "Sir, everything here checks out. That wall's perfectly legal." I smirked. "Good to know, because apparently I'm getting sued for having it." Back home, Karen was already in full drama mode. She had tape across the crash site as if it were a crime scene. Lily was posing next to the Jeep, fake crying, while Karen took photos, probably for court evidence. When she saw me walking over, her voice went shrill. "Stay back! You've done enough damage!" "Karen," I said calmly, "your daughter crashed into my wall. I have footage from my security cameras. You might want to check before you dig your own hole." Her face turned red. "You can't record my daughter without permission," she snapped. "Actually, that camera's on my property, just like that wall." She stomped off, muttering something about privacy laws, and I couldn't help but chuckle. Every second of the crash, from Lily texting while driving to Karen yelling afterward, was saved on a 4K video file. A few days later, I got an email from her lawyer. They were demanding $25,000 in property damage and emotional distress. The audacity made my blood boil. But instead of reacting, I replied with one line, "Let's take it to court." When the day came, the courtroom was packed. Half the neighborhood showed up not to support Karen, but to watch the show. She strutted in wearing sunglasses and a smug smile, like she was about to win a reality TV trophy. Lily followed behind, acting shy and innocent. I didn't say a word. I just waited for my turn. Because sitting in my laptop bag was a USB drive that would end this.
The courtroom went silent. You could hear a pin drop as the video played. Lily laughing, her phone in one hand, music blasting. Then came the sound of tires screeching, a sharp crash, and dust flying as the Jeep smashed through my brick wall. Karen's face turned pale. She tried to speak, but the judge raised the hand. "Mrs. Walker," he said sternly, Did your daughter have permission to drive that vehicle? Karen stuttered. Well, technically it's her father's Jeep, but nothing, the judge cut in. The video shows reckless driving on private property. Mr. Walker's wall is not at fault. I watched as Karen's confidence drained away. Her lawyer shifted uncomfortably, flipping through papers like he wanted to disappear. Then came the twist she never saw coming. I handed the judge one more paper. The construction permit, dated 3 years back, signed by Tom Walker himself. Your Honor, I said calmly, this is the same Tom who approved the wall as HOA chairman, Karen's husband. The courtroom gasped. The judge's eyebrows shot up. So, he said slowly, the HOA approved this wall, and now Mrs. Walker is suing the homeowner for building it? Karen looked like she wanted the floor to open and swallow her whole. The judge sighed. Case dismissed. All damages are to be paid by the plaintiff, Mrs. Walker. She jumped to her feet. That's not fair. He set us up. He... Ma'am, the judge interrupted sharply, you're lucky I don't charge you for filing a false claim. The gavel came down hard. Dang. And just like that, it was over. Outside the courthouse, Karen stormed off, dragging Lily by the arm. The crowd of neighbors clapped and whistled as I stepped out. Someone even shouted, "Finally! Justice for the wall!" I smiled, shaking my head. All that drama over a teenager who couldn't hit the brakes. Later that evening, I stood by the repaired wall. The sun was setting, painting everything gold. A soft breeze blew, and for the first time in weeks, it was quiet again. I thought about everything Karen had tried. The fake authority, the whys, the lawsuit, and still, the truth stood taller than her ego. I placed the small sign beside the new bricks. It read, "This wall stands strong, just like the truth." And as I